Our first hunting trip west of the Mississippi takes us to Whitetail Paradise Properties in northern Missouri. The properties are managed for trophy whitetails, and we have leased land that is over 300 acres in size for just me and Nate during the first week of the archery season. We will be staying in the main lodge with hunters from the other leased properties with a 20-minute drive to where we will be hunting. In the lodge, the lower floor features a television room that has a display of antler sheds collected on their leases. There are also trophy mounts featured in the room to help pass the time between our early morning and evening hunts. Well, made the long drive out to Missouri here. Just as we're leaving last night, my water heater tank blows on the house. So it delays us a little bit leaving, but my dad and brother were graceful enough to come out to the house and fix that for me. So we still have water, hot water at the house. We drove through the night, made about 14 hours with a few rest stops, take some breaks, and taking turns driving.
Yeah,
long drive.
Trip.
Yeah, long drive.
Yeah.
But we got out here, met with Chad, who runs Whitetail Paradise Properties, and he showed us around the property we're going to be hunting. Talked about some different stand locations and the winds out here. We're right on the Iowa border. You go, the north end of this property is the Iowa-Missouri border. And we just set a stand up back in the woods here.
Yeah, right on an acorn flat.
Yeah, lots of acorns back in there. We're hoping that it'll be a good morning stand. And we have some bean plots we're going to hunt this evening. There is a nice 10-point with a split G2 on them. We're really hoping we can get that one. So we're going to slowly through the week move our way back into where he's at and hope it works out.
Yeah, high temperatures and a little windy right now. Hopefully it cools down, a little rain for this week.
Yeah, we think Monday it looks like rain, but they've been pretty dry here. So I'm sure you can hear the wind. Well, first morning in Missouri, first whole day. Last night, we got here yesterday. Last night we sat out on some food plots. I got back down into a valley and didn't see anything at all last night. We're hoping this morning. That gate up behind me, there's been pictures on that, most of them at night, but occasionally in the morning they're crossing through there. So I was hoping to get one coming through there, but nothing this morning. So we'll wait around for about another hour, head back. There's a fishing pond here, maybe do a little bit of bass fishing, and then head back, get some lunch, rest up, and come back out for another evening hunt. Well, we're at night number 2. Nate sat in this stand last night, didn't see anything, but the trail cam that's in this field, I checked it after this morning's hunt. There's been deer in here all night with some nice bucks, and early in the morning there was one. So I decided Nate wanted to go try another bean field. I'm going to keep working this one out. Even though it's a winter crop field, there's acorns all over it. They're in these acorns, eating them. So hopefully we had some thunder showers blow through about an hour ago. Hopefully that has them up and moving a little bit earlier tonight. With the fading light of evening number 2, I finally had my first action beyond the constant dropping of acorns and the chirping of crickets, when several does and yearlings worked their way into the far end of the food plot. Well, we had some overnight rain here and into the morning, which cooled it off, which is what we were hoping for. Yesterday morning on the trail cam, I had 2 buck cross on this little winter food plot, but there's acorns on it. At exactly 7:23 yesterday morning. Well, it's 7:19 today. They crossed at the very far end, about 100 yards away. But they just dashed right across, never got a shot. The good news is that Nate texted me on the far end of the property. He said he shot a big 8, and as it was running off, it was stumbling and thinks he has a good hit. So he headed back to the truck. He's going to check some trail cams for me. He said he's going to do a little bit of bass fishing in the pond, and then when I'm done here, we're going to head down and hopefully find us a deer for him. What do you do after just shooting the biggest buck of your life? You go bass fishing.
So I was walking to the stand, and it's still like pitch black out, and I already see deer coming out. There's like does walking out in front of me in the path. And then I sit in the stand for like 30 minutes, and more does come out. 3 more come out in front of me, and then they kind of leave for a little bit. And a big buck comes from behind me, and I just look over, and he's just standing right there. And he kind of came like down below my stand and stood there for a second, put his nose up, and I think he winded me, and he kind of ran off a little bit, and then he started coming back down the path. And he walked right out in front of him, a little bit to my right, about 20 yards, and I drew back and shot him, and he ran up over the hill.
Alright, so we're going to put some modern technology into tracking this deer. Chad's on his way out with the Ranger because we got a long haul to get out of here. But we're going to put this drone up, see if we can find him out in the field before we head out across there. Yep, there's a dead deer. Wind's playing with me here a bit. Looks like a little rack. You sure what you're doing? Yeah. You shot?
Look at that. That's a big buck. Perfect shot. Well, let's go get him.
All right. Hold on.
I think.
Yeah.
Eight pointer. I'll take him. Good buck.
Later that evening, I headed out to a stand on the far side of the soybean field where Nate shot his buck. The action started early with a doe and her 2 yearlings feeding through the field. Shortly afterwards, I had a small 8-point in the woods to my right and another one along the edge of the beans to my left. It's always an exciting feeling, no matter the size of the deer, when they pass so close to you. The two young bucks soon joined together and, like boys in a schoolyard, decided to test each other's strength. One of the great thrills of hunting is being able to sit like a fly on the living room wall and watch real nature unfold in front of your eyes. The sounds of their antlers clashing together, or hearing acorns crunch as they chew. The wrestling match went on for so long that I lost power to my camera and finished filming with my phone. The morning of day 4 had me thinking hard about a fairly good-sized 8-point that I ended up passing on. That evening the deer were moving again as I returned to the stand by the main gate. This young 4-point, after feeding in the beans, decided to nap directly under my tree stand. The temptation was there when a little while later a 10-point wandered through the gate. A good look, though, showed a spread not wider than the tips of his ears. This looked to be a young deer that we saw reviewing the trail cam pics with Chad Willou. This deer needed a few more years of growth before he gets to be the trophy I was after. Well, I've been having a good 24 hours of deer hunting here. Last night I saw 8 buck, 6 doe. I had a 10-point that crossed right in front of me here and came down on the tree stand that I was sitting in. Out to my left, you're right on the screen, and chose to pass on him. Just wasn't wide enough, had the mass. He was a younger deer. Next year he should be a really nice deer. But while I was in there, way at the end of the bean patch, 3 buck came out into that field. One was definitely a shooter, so that's actually right at the Iowa border. So. The winds remained steady through the evening of day 5, and no deer were moving. The evening air was calm on my final hunt, and a young buck crossed in front of my stand, sliding under the barbed wire fence back into Iowa. Sometime later, 6 deer crossed the fence into the field as I was hoping. Unfortunately, they were all antlerless, and my hunt ended without filling my tags. But the memories of Nate taking his first real trophy were enough for us to head home a little early.